Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the fluff you are. And as you can see by the title, this is going to be the first of the proper, let's say, lessons. Though it's not really a lesson, it's just a help for those of you who need to or want to improve and feminize your voice. Now I do have a bit of a cold coming on and I am slightly out of breath at the moment due to having a coughing fit just before recording, so a few things might not be 100% perfect, but with the excuses out of the way, I will say this may or may not be filmed over a couple of days or a couple of bits of filming, so there may or may not be some things that make sense kind of thematically around me, and there might be things that don't make sense thematically around me. Same with, I might not have the same shirt on at the same time, so there will be a few continuity errors. Just get that out of the way. Yeah, the flag is now up there, finally. It's hung up by magnets, but there's that. So the first thing I am going to say is make sure that the space around you is nice and wide so that you can move about freely, so you have space. Secondly, clothing. Make sure you are in something nice and comfortable so that you're not restricted. Also, at any point, if there is a moment where I say and practice, or if you want to go back and review anything, then you can do. There are moments where you can pause. So pause if you want to at some points. There are also going to be times where you can stop and practice yourself. Take a break. The other thing I am going to say as well is make sure that you are nice and hydrated. Now it doesn't have to be something fizzy. Really, I would say don't get anything fizzy whilst you're practicing these. So that is one. Now, first thing I am going to say is make sure you have plenty of space, and then stretch out so that you're nice and relaxed, and let your arms drop and roll your shoulders and then let them drop. Feet can be together, but at a nice, let's say, at ease. So you're not fully stacked to attention, but you're not slumped. Keep yourself at a nice, at ease point. Now we're going to do a little bit of breath control. So again, if you need to pause and revisit that moment with the rolling of your shoulders, then do so. Now, here we go into the breathing. And this is probably where I'm going to have a coughing fit. I might be asthmatic. Let's just say that. But beyond that, now then, we're going to do 2 deep breaths. Each one will be a breathe in, hold, wait 3 seconds, and exhale. Okay? And again. Now, once you've done that, give yourself a quick moment. Now, I'm going to use this moment just to take a quick drink. As I've said, always stay hydrated. Now, I did, I think, lean into it or mention it a little bit on the preview page. So what we're going to do here is we are going to have a little moment where we hum. So I will move a little bit closer for you so that you can hear me. Yeah, top of my head's going to be cut off at this moment, just because it's not going to be perfect. Just because the area I'm filming in is a little bit cramped, because the room is a bit smaller than I would like, but nothing's ever perfect, unfortunately. But, you know, so find your normal pitch, so wherever that is. So it could be lower than me, it could be higher than me, it could be way lower, it could be way higher on your naturals. But just find your pitch. So there's there. So that's where mine is. Yours, as I've said, might be a little bit lower, could be a tiny bit higher. Now I'm going to bring mine up a little bit. I did go quite hard on that one, so you might feel a little sort of rumble and vibration. You might also hear within yourself a little bit of crackle and popping. If you are like me, where your ears are a bit sensitive, because, well, obviously I'm deaf in my left ear, so you're going to feel the vibrations jittering around in your ear. Don't worry, that's normal. We all get it. So when you're doing that, try to keep it as clean and crisp as you can. It doesn't matter if it's not precise or if it's not clean. It's fine. This is why we are doing these, because it's practice. As I said, this is an excuse also for me to practice and get better, because I am quite lazy. So I do use my lower voice. So a lot of the time I will talk like this, even though really I know I can come up here and I know I can talk like this. It cleans and crisps it out. Also, yes, you might be able to notice the fact that there is a little bit of a lisp and broken speech. I am supposed to have a denture, but unfortunately the denture's broken. So the gap is there. So I'm going to need a new denture, which will be coming along in the new year at some point. Don't know when, but it may be February, March, maybe April. Don't worry. I don't like wearing it, so my speech is just as bad with it as without. Now, since I rambled, now, when you are humming, as I said, try to keep it there and keep your breath steady. So breathe in and then use that with the hum to bring along. Now, when you've found your tone or your upper, don't overreach. So for instance, that's me really overreaching and rising it way up. So that would be going from, like, if I was to go from here to go right up here to go really high and squeaky. For instance, you don't want to go too far up. And for anyone who is going the opposite way, now I know some kind of female to male folk would be watching here. So for instance, if you was to roll it back, so you don't want to go down here. You know, so you'd rather it go down here. So you're speaking a bit further back within yourself. Now, That's where it would go if you was to roll it back. Now, whilst we're on the humming, if you want to progress to this next stage of the humming, this is where you would, in effect, do the rolling of the hum. So, for instance, because you'd be playing with it and rolling it around. Whilst you're rolling and making it go higher, you're bringing it forward naturally because you're tending to roll it up and down. So that's how we would be getting that. Now, I know I'm not going to be the greatest of teachers here, and I might be rushing through this, but every stage you can pause and go back. Now, once you've moved on from the rolling, this is something I learned whilst I was on a video call to someone that I was doing the speech therapy and vocal therapy with a few years ago. Whilst you're rolling it in and out, you can also, if you want to, do the siren. So, you can do things like that. There's all sorts of little ins, outs and ways around things. You could roll it up, roll it in, even find little ways yourself of little things that you find fun to do. This is not strictly fun. This is going to be a little bit taxing on your throat and on part of your upper chest. So you will at times feel a little bit sore and a bit strained. Don't worry, that's normal. It's because you're training yourself to get used to this. So don't worry if you feel a little bit raw and a bit sore. This is all normal. So take your time with it. Don't worry. Now, whilst I'm in the flow, I'm just going to keep recording things, and you can pause and go back when necessary. Also, at the beginning of every video, I am just going to say, do the stretching and do the breath. I'm not going to record myself doing them because I will have done them beforehand. Just so we can keep things in the flow, so that we're not backlogging and basically stalling anywhere that we are. Okay? So at this point, if you want to, you can have a quick pause and get yourself a drink. Because I'm going to take this opportunity too. So I'm going to say pause for now. Right, so now that we are hydrated again, and you've had a little moment, or gone back and practiced things that you may feel like you want to go back to, here's another little thing that I got taught. Now I do have the paperwork, I've still got to find that and dig that out. So I'm doing things off of memory for the first one. Second ones, well, from 2 onwards, may be a bit more precise with what I'm saying. I might also be able to find ways of getting screenshots so I can get some of the clues up inside the video at some point. Not sure when. My editing skills aren't brilliant, but hey, we all know that. So, part 2 to this one, because I'm going to try to keep these videos to about 20-25, maybe stretching to about 30 minutes, but this first one may be whatever it turns into. So, for the second part, once you've rolled in with your humming, sorry, I'm just going to take my aid out just because it's echoing again, so I need a new battery in that. So for the second part, we're going to roll along with going in from the humming to be able to roll humming into words, so at least you can then roll words. So you don't have to do the hum and then flick in, but the hum and then go into a word or a letter or even numbers can help you sometimes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A. Things like that, or even the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can just roll along and hold, it's perfectly fine. If you can go further than that, if you can go from 5 to 10, then that's really good. You will notice as well I do flip back and forth, because my natural tendency is to, let's say, balance the two out, going from my forward voice to my bass voice, because that's natural and easier for me. But again, this is practice for me and practice for all of you. Everyone here is in the same boat. Whether you've been on your journey for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, to a couple of years, to maybe beyond, and you're just coming back because you want to brush up, we're all on a different journey and it's all fine. So never worry, never worry. If you can't hear me, things will have been hopefully improved in the edit process, because I will try to boost the volumes, so at least things will be a bit noticeable. If parts of it do get too noisy, I do apologise. It's just because where I'm at the moment, the microphone I'm supposed to be using decided that it wanted to cack itself. So I've just gone back to using the microphone which is inside the cell phone. That's not the brilliantest of things, so there we go. Anyway, so you can go from there to things like, if you are brave enough at this point, hello, my name is Sarah. You can roll things in like that. You can easily roll things in, but sometimes it's like, that might be a little bit advanced for some people. Some people might find that easy. Some people may want this one though. Little things like that. Now, if you're a sports fan, perfect, because you might know a chant, so you can practice that thing. You know, it's like, now I'm going to use something that I've done. So let's, for instance, say when I go watch rugby, there's a player, so Paddy may go or Patrick may go. So to the tune of Rocket All Over the World, we got Paddy may go. So try and see if you can raise that up. So I'm going to personally try to raise that bit up on my own. So we got Paddy may go. You know, little things like that. Find something and play with it. Wordplay, voice play, you can make it fun. It is work. You do have to put the effort in and the work in, but it's a lot easier if you can find ways of doing it. Like I said in the preview piece, if you do like Disney movies, there's a lot of songs. I'm not expecting you to be able to sing the entirety of Let It Go, or Can You Feel the Love Tonight, or Prince Ali, or, you know, I'm Gonna Make a Man Out of You, things like that. You know, I'm not expecting anyone to be able to sing those pin perfect with everything like that. If you like show tunes, perfect. You've got a chance to play with your voice. If your job is working with customers, and for instance, like I used to do, you work for a telecommunications company and you're a call handler. You can make up excuses for why your voice is fluttering and rolling around. For instance, you can say, pretend that you've got a brother or a sister and they have a kid, and that kid likes a certain type of accent or finds it cool. So you're practicing that accent so you can play it in. So for instance, because again I'm just going to use rugby here, because there's a lot of Australians in rugby, so you could pretend to use an Australian accent as a way to roll your natural accent up a bit, to bring it up on a bridge. So like, you know, good eye mate, how's it going there, cubba? Good eye mate, how's it going there, cubba? Little things like that, you can roll it up and flow it. Same with how in college, as I mentioned I think in the preview, that I did have the sort of the Cali Valley girl, like, oh my god, like, no way, like, yeah, if you can use that rolling flick, again, it's all good, it's all part of how you are yourself. Now, you might not like the Cali Valley girl, you might not like the Australian, you might like a different kind of accent. You know, you might not even be northern, you could be southern. So you could be around London, so you might have a more normal, rolling, sort of more what us up north would say, starting to reach towards more received pronunciation. So more what you would hear on TV, things like that. It's all fine. You can play with your voice where you need and where you feel is comfortable. So, if you want to hold a pause now and practice something, you can do. If you want to go on and do something else, then for this final piece for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can bring in a bit more of a sustain on that hum. So let's say, for instance, you go in, you do count to 5 and then hold the hum until you're out of breath, or at least hold it for as long as you feel that you can hold it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know that one wasn't perfect, so I'm going to go again, and I'm going to try and reach 10 and still have breath left for a little hum. You don't need to, I'm just going to do this one personally for myself. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, I could have gone on a bit longer with that, and I did rush through the numbers a little bit, because I did feel that I was sloping a little, but that's all fine. It's perfect. Breath control is your friend. So if you are struggling with breath control, do as I'm doing right now, stand. Standing up is going to be more helpful because it's going to allow you to stretch, allow your body to be nice and comfortable and easier. So as you're sitting, you might be comfortable, but sitting can sometimes be a little bit restrictive. So always remember that. Now, I know I did say about having the jobs and things like that where you could be sat down. You're not pushing, so that's fine. As long as you're relaxed and you can move about, because where I was, we could stand from our chairs, we could stand up and we could move around in our little zones. We were able to move about, even though our headsets were wired and things like that. We could move about, we could have a little space of our own. So if there was something on in the background, there was a bit of music and you were just waiting on hold for someone, or there's a customer that you were doing, you could have a little, you know, you could just move about and boogie a bit, you know. You could shake your tail a little bit, give it a little roll. It's all in there, it's all part of it. Just keep loose. Don't feel restricted, don't feel like you have to rush on through like I'm doing with these recordings. I'm recording them at my natural pace. You can pause these at any possible time, so don't worry about that. It's all good, it's all fine. So, you can always revisit anything. So, the next one, we will go back over some of the humming, roll in a couple of other techniques and things like that. Once I found the paperwork, I will know what bits I would want to go back to and cover. I might also have a bit more structure, because this one was, as I mentioned earlier, just off the cuff and what's in my head. So it's not going to be the best, but hey, it's all perfectly fine. I could do thousands of these videos for you all. I'm going to be putting these out, as I've mentioned, once a month, second Friday of every month. I will aim to keep that where possible. There might be some where they become possibly like 1 week earlier, 1 week later, depending on if something else gets in the way or if I've got other things being filmed and created. There could be the two possibilities through the week. So this might not actually come out on a Friday. This one will come out on a Friday, but a follow-up from one of these may not come out on a Friday because there could be something else rolling in. So just keep aware of where the taglines are, and I will see you sometime soon. So, if you want to contribute to the quest for 500, I don't really like doing these shill months, but I've got to. I do want to try and bring the popularity of the channel up, and I will appreciate it. I would appreciate it if you give us a like. If you want to contribute to the quest to 500, then smash that sub down below. If you have any comments, stick them down in the comment section below. I will see you all starside. Remember, life is only what you put into it. If you put the smallest amount in, you will only get the smallest amount back. Always practice good mental health. Peace out, farewell, take care of yourself. Goodbye.